Okay, fine. I'll make a Bowsette video, but on one condition. It's going to be wholesome. Take that, internet. Super Mario U Deluxe has officially taken over my timeline, and not in a way that would have been my first choice. People have really taken this Toadette, Peachette, Super Crown thing and ran with it in a way that I'm sure Nintendo would not exactly embrace, but there is a way to salvage it. Most of the designs are pretty cool, and the concept is solid from a bird's eye view. I think that we can take those things and put them into a game that I'm sure few of you have played and even fewer of you have thought about in quite some time. Super Princess Peach. Let's talk about how Bowsette and the rest of the Super Crown fan creations are the perfect justification for a sequel in the Super Princess Peach series. First, some context for those of you that aren't completely in the know. This whole Bowsette thing spawned from a webcomic created by Twitter user AK92 sometime after Nintendo revealed Peachette and the Super Crown. And if you don't know about Peachette and the Super Crown, that's a new addition to the Super Mario Bros. U port coming to the Nintendo Switch. When Toadette acquires a Super Crown, she transforms into a Peach-like humanoid form that has special abilities that make the game easier. Point is, this comic really resonated with people and has been all over Twitter and soon after YouTube. After all, AK92 did a great job with the design and, well, let's just say part of the internet likes the design for a different reason. This concept interests me specifically because I think that this new crown was the missing link that Super Princess Peach needed for a game that wouldn't anger the entire internet. Well, not the entire internet, but a sizable portion that I'm sure Nintendo would rather not have to damage control for. For those of you that haven't had the pleasure of playing Super Princess Peach, it was a Nintendo DS game wherein you control Peach in her first starring role as the main hero. Peach teams up with Perry the Umbrella to platform her way to defeat Bowser and return Perry to his original form as a human, which you may think is progressive, but you also have to keep in mind that the main draw is you utilize her mood swings as her superpower, as it were, thanks to Princess Peach acquiring a magical item called the Mood Scepter, which allows for her emotions to effectively become, like I said, her powers. For instance, her sadness can be used to cry waterfalls of tears, or her rage can be used to engulf herself in flames of anger. Her happiness does this, and so on and so forth. This, I'm sure you all know, regardless of your political leaning or whatever, would undoubtedly cause controversy if a game like it were released, that is, if the main draw of the game was something similar. But within the lore of this series, your real world mom apparently has the Mood Scepter for reasons, so I think this new crown is the perfect replacement MacGuffin for a new game that would serve as the purpose of salvaging both Super Princess Peach and Bowsette into something that Nintendo could use to make a game that serves a wide audience. Even better yet, it'd make the Nintendo Switch library even more varied. Best yet, maybe we could see a Bowsette Smash Ultimate skin. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We need a game before we can start thinking about things like Smash and spin-offs and all that other merchandising stuff. So here's some of my ideas for the structure of Super Princess Peach 2. I think the game should begin with Bowser realizing that he will never be able to permanently capture Princess Peach. Mario will always come to foil his plans, no matter how many cake-filled parties he crashes, how many airships he abducts her from, or how many weddings he plans. In the first Princess Peach game, Bowser even kidnapped Mario and still didn't succeed. So now he'll undoubtedly realize that he may not be able to kidnap Princess Peach, but with the power of this new crown, he can become her. This, I think, would serve a few purposes, the first of which being changing Bowser's motivations for kidnapping Peach making them less ambiguous and inherently less creepy. This time around, it will be abundantly clear that Bowser's out for money, status, and thereby power. After all, he doesn't need to physically steal Peach to claim any of that. With the power of this newly discovered crown, he could just frame her. This would also be the perfect patch to write Mario out of the game, because, well, Mario isn't always exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. It wouldn't be too hard for Bowser to slyly defeat him while masquerading as the princess he loves so much. Luckily for Peach, Cappy and Tiara proved that these superpowered hats aren't always one of a kind. Peach can both clear her name and claim similar powers to those in her past outing, only minus the implications. This time, rather than being powered by her emotions, Peach's powers will be based on the crowns she can collect. For this idea, they will have to alter how Peach's crown specifically works. Rather than transforming her into a Peach-like version of herself, she can absorb some of the essence of others. So rather than a sad mood swing emotion power, she can use a crown that has absorbed some of the essence of someone like Luigi, or for anger, she can absorb a Bowser minion, so on, so forth. All of these people that I just mentioned would have obvious motives to seek revenge against Bowser, both from the previous years of dealing with his antics, his recent defeat of Mario, and what he did to them in the first Super Princess Peach game. Of course, she wouldn't need to absorb anyone to obtain these powers. There's plenty of other ways they can go about doing it. Another way that I think could be pretty solid is a party of allies that have the corresponding abilities. I want to talk more about how I think that should work, but first let's talk about the gameplay from a broad perspective. Because of the similar powers, the gameplay could be largely unchanged, save for a few key differences. Something to facilitate Peach's need to acquire these powers, for instance, would be one of them. The easiest way that I think they could go about doing this is taking a note from Snow White's book and travel alongside a group of toads or toadettes with the corresponding emotions that Peach can call on to progress through the given stage. If they opt to go with the absorption idea, however, we'd have a Mega Man sort of structure on our hands. The original Super Princess Peach already used her Mood Scepter powers in a similar way, after all, with boss battles. They were fought using specific powers that those specific bosses were vulnerable to, so introducing a similar structure to Mega Man that allows the player to decide who they face first would work well in this case, because it would gamify the mechanics even more. An area that they can expand on pretty easily is the use of parry. Now they can give you the opportunity to swap between Peach's iconic items like the pan, golf club, tennis racket, in addition to a new umbrella since parry's gone. All of these items would have their own advantages and disadvantages, of course, affecting your enemies differently, your environment differently, Peach differently, so on and so forth. Another expansion to the formula could be made thanks to the introduction of the new crown in tandem with the Party of Toads specifically. Multiplayer could be added to this game for sure, whether that be the more competitive natured, intrusive way that Mario games tend to handle it, or the more out of your way, less directly competitive Rayman Legends formula. Either way they go, it could totally work. I personally prefer the Rayman Legends approach to this particular aspect of the game, but regardless of which they choose, I would hope that they would implement online multiplayer. I know that's something that Nintendo doesn't tend to do very much in their multiplayer platformers, but hey, Switch Online's a thing. Maybe this is the beginning of a new Nintendo. I'm not holding my breath, but I think it would be cool. Speaking of the variety of princesses, Amiibo becoming a part of this game is a no-brainer. These Amiibo could unlock differently themed princesses, or for the Peach Amiibo, they can work kind of like how the wedding themed Amiibo work in Mario Odyssey. I'd feel bad for the DIY crowd because this happening would mean their Bowsette creations are less in demand, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I prefer a mass market solution because they're easier to come by and effectively cheaper. Luckily for them though, I doubt that Nintendo would bite on this trend as it's a bit outside of their wheelhouse, as I've already mentioned. But assuming they're paying more attention to their market at large, because hey, people in our age group are also big Nintendo fans, I think it could be a pretty strong PR move if they did embrace this. It would heavily change the context of the meme, at least on a public facing basis, and it would bring Princess Peach to the spotlight all over again since her DS game in a more positive way. But those are my thoughts. What do you think about Bowsette and the other Super Crown creations potentially making making their way into Nintendo canon. And for the comment challenge, what's your favorite Nintendo game or series that's unlikely to get a sequel today? Let me know that and more in the comments down below. Did you enjoy this video? Click the thumbs up button and share it with a friend who can't stop sharing Bowsette. Or maybe they don't know what Bowsette is. Consider becoming a channel member for exclusive emotes, loyalty badges, gaming time with us, potentially free Switch keys every now and then, and you'll be helping the community. If you aren't willing or able to contribute financially, you could always join our Discord and chat with us there. Check out our website, fanatixfour.com, for content that you won't see here, but most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Podcast whenever Logan doesn't fall asleep, apparently. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.